Hello, everybody. And welcome to today's webinar / Q&A about Adobe Express. So a warm welcome to all of you. There's quite a few people joining us. I think we've had 200 of you signing up to this for this webinar. So we're really looking forward to having all of you for this hour. And whilst everybody's joining, I'll get started. As a slight reminder, if everybody could mute themselves, please, so that there's no feedback. Thank you very much. So my name is Lisa Chamet. I'm the head of partnerships at Charity Digital, and I'm going to be your host for today's Q&A. So a very warm welcome to all of you. Today's session is all about Adobe Express Premium, which is completely free of charge for charities, and it's available through the Charity Digital Exchange. So for those of you that are joining us for the first time, Charity Digital is we're a charity, basically, and we help other organizations in the UK increase your impact by being more digital. So we have two primary mechanisms, and one is providing access to software products that charities need at very low price, or even for free, and that's the Charity Digital Exchange, and we'll pop some links in the chat. And then the other mechanism is by doing some content, creating content that's all free of charge for charity professionals and volunteers. And that includes obviously articles, podcasts, and webinars. So obviously this is why you're all joining for today. So this is what we do. And about today's session, as you all know, we're going to have two of our partners from Adobe joining us today, because Adobe Express has got great templates and designing tools. So loads of things to make your creation process faster and easier. So the question is, where do you start and how do you start? So today, the session is going to be delivered by Celeste, Menich and Malin, Persson, who are both from Adobe, and they will take you on a tour around Adobe Express, to demonstrate how user-friendly this platform is for all of you. It's going to be an entry-level session, so that's showcasing you how to get started and how to get started on producing some assets and some content. A few house rules before we handing over to Celeste and Malin. The session is recorded, so it will be uploaded to watch on demand. You'll be very welcome to share with the rest of your colleagues if they want to watch. And during the webinar, you're very welcome to ask loads of questions in the chat section, aside of obviously telling us where you're joining us from today. And then we will put all the questions together towards the end of the hour, about 50 minutes before, and Celeste and Malin will answer each of these questions for you. If you encounter any sound or image issues, just let us know. My colleague James, James Corcoran, who will be our back of house today, will make sure that everything runs smoothly, and will be doing our best to get the session back to normal. So now that everybody is muted and most of you are joining us with your cameras on, which is lovely, I will go and hand over to Malin, Persson and Celeste, Menich.
Amazing.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you so much, Lisa. What an amazing session. We're very excited to be here. I'm going to get my colleague Celeste to start sharing our little introduction slideshow before we start, but it's so great to see everyone. I love when people have their cameras on because it just feels like we can have a two-way conversation. I'm sure we're going to be utilizing it, and David is even waving, so there we go. He's humoring me. I love it. This is the interaction we need today. So thank you so much. Let's see, Celeste, are you sharing the screen?
I will go ahead and share my screen, Malin. Welcome today, everyone. We're really looking forward to today's session. Give me just 1 second to share my screen. I might stop the video while I'm sharing, just so it helps in case there's any issues with the Wi-Fi. 1 second.
Yeah, but Celeste, we're going to be starting with the introduction slides, hey? So no you worries. Can have your camera on if you want. But if not, I'm going to be here and be the friendly face. So yes, super excited to be here. Thank you so much to James and Lisa for asking us to do this and allowing us this little hour with you all. We are going to be talking about creative content today. And I know that this is something that is just ever increasing when it comes to demand. So I'm hoping that you walk away feeling a bit more confident and have a few new tricks up your sleeve for how to really create standout content for whatever purposes you might need them for. So Celeste, should you pop to the next slide, please? Awesome, welcome. And we can even go to the next one there because we have said welcome already. And yes, so my name is Malin, and you probably noticed I have a lot of energy and a lot of passion for all things Creative Cloud. So I am definitely in the right job, so to speak. And I, in my day-to-day role, drive a lot of the brand and engagement programs that we roll out for the B2B audience usually. But on my side of desk job, I also do a lot of social impact engagement with my partner in crime, which is Celeste. So Celeste, why don't you introduce yourself as well?
Yes, thank you, Malin. So I'm a senior solutions consultant here at Adobe. I've been with Adobe coming up for 4.5 years, which is absolutely fantastic. I work with all our enterprise customers just to help them understand all the latest and greatest in Creative Cloud. So Creative Cloud, as a set of applications, changes all the time. We're introducing so many new tools. We have the Adobe Express, which we're going to introduce you to today. We've got Firefly as well. So there's so many new tools that my role is really to help everyone understand the latest and greatest and get the most from their Creative Cloud licenses. Back to you, Malin.
Amazing, super. And like we said, we're going to be tackling this session with a bit of a demo, a walkthrough from an entry-level point of view. Please use the chat pod to ask your questions because James is going to help us sort of send them in the back end through to us so we can also have a little look. And if there are any burning questions that I kind of realized that we should really be tackling with Celeste as they come through, I will be the voice of God and help her to kind of get the questions through to her and we can showcase that. Otherwise, we'll take them all at the end. So that's super cool. I think, Celeste, the next slide, please. And that is the video. So off we go. Welcome to the future. Let's go, let's get it. Won't stop, we just beginning. Came here, one goal to win it. Fight them right to the finish. Let's go, we on it. Toss people, power running. Our lives on this, just watch. Bet you can't guess what's coming next. Get ready, get ready, get ready, away. We on that next level. We up on that next. Up on that next. We up on that next. On that next. Pedal to the meadow. Get ready, away. We on that next level. All right, thank you, Celeste. With that, we are going to take that level up mindset for this session. It doesn't matter if you've not used the Express before, we are going to take you through it. And it doesn't matter if you are pro creative, we're going to tell you why it's still a relevant tool for you when it comes to your content creation. I'm going to be handing over to Celeste. I'll be in the background and yes, be the voice of God should there be any questions or anything happening. But I look forward to meeting you all in the chat pod. Over to you, Celeste.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Malin. So today we're going to be going through a live demo, whistle stop tour, as I call it, from Adobe Express. We have two flavors, if you like, of Adobe Express today. We have the production version that's currently in market, and we have the beta version, which has got all the kind of new bells and whistles and exciting text to edit and things like that. So what we'll be doing today is, first of all, starting off with the current version, express.adobe.com, which hopefully you'll have access to, and then jumping into the beta version. It's an open beta today, so anyone can join it. If you go to new.express.adobe.com, I'll be talking you all through this in the demo as well. If you want to follow along, please do. That will be the best way to learn it, really get stuck in. So in the production version, We'll be looking at the homepage and how to sort of orient yourself. We'll be looking at how to upload your brand assets and create a brand. There's even a way to create a quick logo if you need to do that too. We'll be creating a social post, and we'll be looking at all the quick actions, which are super helpful when you're getting to grips with kind of doing things quickly that you may not necessarily want to open Photoshop for. We'll be looking at the templates, and then we'll be looking at working with images and typography. So that's all the basics that you need to know when you're putting together a piece of graphic design or a graphic element. Then we'll be jumping over to the beta, and we'll be showing you what's new in the beta version. In the beta version, we're bringing in real-time collaboration because obviously designing is fun and we want to do it together. And it might be that you're working with somebody. So somebody might want to be writing the copy and you might be dealing with the images. So collaboration in design is really, really important. Another thing that we've brought into the beta version is the powerful video creation functionality. So currently you may be working with Premiere Pro if you're a pro, or you might be working with Adobe Premiere Rush if you started to work with that application. And what we're bringing is the best of those tools right to Adobe Express so that you can create quick and easy videos for all of your social content or any other videos that you need to create quickly and easily within Adobe Express. So we'll be taking a good look at how to use the video content creation tools. We also have AI-powered tools now from Adobe Firefly. Some of you might have heard of Adobe Firefly, which is our new collection of generative AI tools. And we'll be bringing these to Adobe Express. So we'll be showing you how to create assets using Firefly functionality, and how to create text effects as well with the Firefly functionality too. The other fantastic thing about the new Express is the interoperability with Photoshop and Illustrator and Creative Cloud libraries. So if you are a Creative Cloud Design Pro and you are using applications like Photoshop and Illustrator, it's now really easy to start off a design in Photoshop and then bring it into Adobe Express to create a template. There's no need to do this. If you want to create all of your designs in Express, that's absolutely fine. But we'll just show you the possibilities of what's going to be available with that kind of interoperability across all of the Creative Cloud ecosystem. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay. So this is what Adobe Express looks like today. And Adobe Express has amazing templates, design tools, and will really make your content creation process faster and easier than ever. It's really quick and intuitive to learn and quick and intuitive to use. Today, I'm creating a fictional brand called Sugar and Spice, and I've created some assets that we want to post to social media, and I'm going to show you the whole process through the content creation. If I have a look over here on my desktop, I'm going to have a look at the assets that we've created, and then I'll go through step by step how to create them from scratch. So this is an example of an Instagram post that I've created. It's very simple, it's very static, but it uses our brand logo. We've got the typography aligned. We've got our kind of new campaign, which is about purchasing 8 cupcakes and we'll plant a tree. And then we have some kind of fun cupcakes. All of these graphics are generated from right within Adobe Express as well. We'll then look at how to create a post in the new version of Express. And what we'll be able to do in the new version of Express is you can see that these have been generated with Firefly. So I've actually been able to use our generative AI tool to generate my cupcakes here. And I've been able to use the edit text tool to apply the kind of sugary kind of effect to my typography. So we'll be showing you how that all of that works. This is an example here of an Illustrator template that I've created in Illustrator, and I've brought it into Adobe Express. So you can see how quickly and easy I can just kind of drag my content in, start from content I've created, and then go ahead and create really fun videos with animations and the graphics all coming in together. Last but not least, you can add audio as well. We can create videos that have voiceovers. We haven't done a voiceover today, but I'll show you an example of a video with some audio. So we'll just play that one more time for you to show you what's going on. We've got the animation, we've got the video rolling in the background, we've got our cutouts, and we've got some fun cupcakes, and obviously we've got our branding and our logo as well. So where do we start when we're looking at Adobe Express? So if we go at the top version here, you'll see express.adobe.com. And the easiest place, if you ever get lost, is to click this logo in the top left-hand corner, because that will always take you to your homepage. And this is what your homepage looks like. You've got all of your actions or your tools on the left-hand side, all of the projects you've created recently underneath. You can click view all, and all of the quick actions that are easy to do when you're starting to work with things. I did want to draw your attention to the quick actions. We've got them listed out here: popular, image, video, QR code, and PDF. If we go to the plus button here, you also see them listed in 3 different styles here as well. So we can go ahead and just show you how easy it is, for example, to remove an image, to remove the background from an image. I'm going to go onto my desktop. I'm going to find an image that I want to remove the background from. Let's just take this one, for example, and then we can see the power of Photoshop working in the background, removing the background of the image for us so that we can start to work with this image in Adobe Express. Once I've removed the background, I can go ahead and download it, or I can go ahead and customize it, which means that I have further editing capabilities, and it will load it up right into Adobe Express browser for me. So there we go. I can edit the cutout if I want. I can kind of use my brush and go around the edges. I can invert the cutout if I wanted to keep the background, for example. If I'm not happy with it, I can kind of play around with the edges and I can restore it back. But actually that's pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that. Back to the quick actions. I just wanted to show you a few other really, really useful quick actions. As well as removing the background, it's really easy to resize and crop images. So if you have images that you want to resize or reshape or crop, then using one of these quick actions will do that really easily for you. Over on the video page, we've got some examples of cropping video, merging videos, converting to MP4. I think a really, really useful one for social media is actually resizing videos. So here, for example, I have a video that I want to resize, and I can go ahead and simply click the square to resize it to 1080 by 1080. I can go ahead and click landscape if I want it to be a landscape video format. Again, I can go ahead and click a portrait or a 1080 by 1920, and I can move the video around where I want it. Have a quick play to make sure it's all kind of working okay. I can scale the video up if I wanted to, scale it down. And once I'm happy with how my video looks, I can go ahead and download it. So I can really start to sort of play with videos very quickly and easily. These are actually really powerful video tools. And in Premiere Pro, you would have to go in, it would take a number of steps. But what's fantastic about Adobe Express is we're bringing the power of Premiere Pro right into Adobe Express. So there's no need to open any of the Pro tools. We can do all this super quickly and super easily. Another nice one to call attention to is changing speed. Lots of people want to ramp up a video or slow it down, and we can use that by changing the speed. Another really handy tool is actually generating a QR code. A lot of marketing materials today do use QR codes, and we just have to type in our website here and then click Create QR Codes. There's a little bit of functionality in terms of playing around with the style and the color. And then there's an option to download it in 3 different file types: PNG, JPEG, or SVG. So there we go, creating a QR code. We can do this in Adobe InDesign, but it's so much quicker and easier to go ahead and generate it using Adobe Express. So these quick tools will soon become your new best friend. Sometimes we have to quickly sort out images for a PowerPoint, for example, if we're putting a deck together, and you can go ahead and use all of these tools to quickly edit assets individually, or go ahead and work with the assets right within Adobe Express. The next thing I wanted to highlight here is brands. So over here, you can see my brands, and I've created all these different brands over the years for all of the different projects that I'm working with. Now you can see that I've got my Sugar and Spice brand here, and I'm going to go and show you how I created that brand by doing it again for you now. So we'll go ahead and add our brand elements. If I go to Sugar and Spice, I can find my brand logo that I've created. I actually created one in Illustrator earlier. I created my logo. I can check it's the right logo I want to upload, and then I can go ahead and upload it. And straight away on the right-hand side, you'll see how it starts to populate what all of my templates are going to look like. I'm quite happy with my logo color as my main brand color. But again, if you did have a hex code that you wanted to type in for your brand color, you could go ahead and do that. And then last but not least, you have the option of using all the Adobe fonts within your brand, or you can also go ahead and upload your own fonts as well. So if you're a business and you're working with particular fonts that you want to use, as long as you've got the license to use those fonts, you can go ahead and add those fonts. So we'll go ahead and upload the font. It just tells me to go to the next step, which is simply giving my brand a name. And then it asks you to create your brand. Now, what that means is that my logos are now stored and my color palette is now stored, and I can go ahead and add more colors if I wanted to use across my projects. Let's say I want to kind of a baby pink or a baby purple, I can go ahead and add that. So you can start to sort of build up the colors that you want to use in your brands. Again, you can change the look and feel of projects simply by popping into this brand area here, and you can personalize how your tagline are displayed in the current version. When you make videos, these little logos will appear immediately on your videos. So the other thing just to call out here is if we have a look for Adobe Express Logo Maker, if we don't have a logo and you wanted to create a logo quickly and easily, we can actually just go ahead and use the free logo maker that's within Adobe Express. Quickest way to find it is just do a quick Google search. And you can see here, I was looking at this earlier. My baking business is called Sugar and Spice, and I don't have a slogan. I'm going to just choose a brand style, click next, and then choose an icon. Let's put in cupcake. See if there's any of these kind of little cupcakes that I want to use for my business. Maybe that's quite a fun one there. And then it will go ahead and design the logos for me. So again, what I can do is I can browse these logos. That one's quite cool, but I want to go ahead and customize it. So if I click on customize more, I can go ahead and customize this logo right within Adobe Express. So again, if you don't have a logo for your company, or you're wanting to set up your own kind of company and create a logo from scratch, not to worry about not having Illustrator skill sets, for example, as all of this can now be done quickly and easily right within Adobe Express. And you can see here that I'm starting to work with my brand. Let's just find a kind of different logo we want to do. Go ahead and start to adjust the line spacing. Obviously, I need that my pink color. And then you can see how quickly and easily, if you want to, you can start to sort of pull a logo together. So we've covered off how to upload your brand assets, and we've covered off how to create a logo if you wanted to create something from scratch. So let's go and have a look at some of the posts that we can start creating. So I have a post here, and we're just going to open this up now. I have a post here that I've wanted to kind of pop onto my social media. You can see I've created 4 different assets. Let's have a look at the first asset. You can see that I've built up layers of kind of duotones, images, and my branding. So we'll go in and open a new space here, just so we can have it all side by side. And we'll go ahead and create this from scratch so I can show you how I created it. So you do have tons of templates to start with. All of your templates are here, but in this case, I wanted to show you how to create things from scratch, just so you've got all the toolkits at your fingertips. And then you can put together the skills you've learned today with these beautifully designed templates and go ahead and really create anything you want for your business or your brand. So I'm going to click the little plus button here. I'm going to click Instagram post because I want it to be a square post. If we click back there, you'll see that I've got the logo in the top hand corner. So I just need to pop into logos. As I loaded my brand up earlier, I've got my logos ready and waiting for me. So I haven't got to sort of upload or download or anything like that. The next thing I wanted to do was just go into photos to find a photo for my assets, for my social asset. And again, you can see that I can sort of scroll through and quickly and easily use all of the preloaded content that's within Adobe Express. If I wanted to upload a photo of my own, or I've got image of my own, I can of course go ahead and do that too. Now, I wanted to remove the background because I just wanted my kind of cookie shape. I didn't want to keep any backgrounds in my kind of assets, which is fine. That looks great. So I'm going to go ahead and accept it. Let's just kind of pull it a bit larger down there. Now, the next thing I wanted to do is, if you see here, I've got my tree, and I wanted to go ahead and let's add a little tree. So again, I'm going to go into design assets, which is a really, really, really handy place to find images, graphics, backgrounds. In the new version of Express, you've got shapes, design assets, and backgrounds all put together under elements. In the current version of Express, you've got them as separate items. So do feel free to have a play around with looking through all the shapes, design assets, and backgrounds to find what you need. There's hundreds of kind of preloaded kind of images and content, and it's just a matter of kind of playing around of what you want to get the effect that you need. Obviously, that doesn't look great. I need to kind of knock my tree out. I think I might have chosen a bit of a big tree here, but let's go with it. So obviously, I need to go over here on the right-hand side and add some kind of filters to get the look and feel that I want. Now, adding a duotone in Photoshop has got a number of complicated steps, but obviously adding a duotone in Adobe Express is super quick and easy, and I've just done that in less than a second. I've got my layers palette over here, so I can kind of play around with the kind of layering of things. Let's have a little look. And the other thing I wanted to do is obviously edit my background. I haven't got a beautiful pale pink color yet, so let's go ahead and just kind of create that beautiful pale pink. So you can see how quickly and easily I've really started to kind of build it up. And the only other thing we're missing here is our typography. So let's go ahead and show you how to work with type. I'm going to go ahead and add some text. A few too many dots there. Let's select the text. Once you've selected all the text, I can go ahead and start to work with all the different typography styles. I can't remember which style I used actually. So on this one here, it's called Urbana Black. So I can go back in. Obviously, let's pop that in the brand color so we can read it. And I can actually just kind of scroll through and find all of the typography that I want to use. We do have font recommendations. So if you're kind of stuck for working with fonts and you're not sure what you want it to look like, you can just simply click through all of the font recommendations as well as scrolling through as well. If you see the little back button up here, that's where you go back to do anything, and the forward button brings it forward to what you've done as well. So if it's a kind of cloud-based system, so it's an automatic kind of automatic saving system. Let's just add that one we liked earlier because I found that and I thought that was kind of jazzy. Pop it into the pink again. And a couple of things to show you about typography. Dragging and dropping the corner will kind of resize your text box. Obviously, you've got your alignment buttons over here, and you can go ahead and do curved, grids. And my favorite is magic type, which puts it into a really nice kind of neat box for you. You can go ahead and then add kind of shapes behind your assets here. You can go ahead and add shadows. So you can really sort of play around with kind of building up and layering up the effects if you want shapes and shadows. If you do go into shapes, click on the shape again, you've got the option to play around with the different shapes. And you can see here how I can actually just change all the shapes that I want depending on the look and feel that I'm after. In my kind of design, because there's kind of animation I'm going to be adding, I think I've actually just kept it quite simple. So we'll just tick off the shape button. So we have it just plain with the pink typography, purchase 8 cakes and we'll plant a tree. So you can see how quickly I've created this static post, and now I just want to add some animation. So this is a really big difference between the current version and the new version, which I'll be jumping into in just a moment. Over here, if you come out here, you'll see on the right-hand side, I've got all my tools to design it, and I've got a tool for animation as well. Now, in the current version, you can either have type animation or photo animation, and we can scroll through the different types of typography animation. Typewriter is a pretty cool one. Or you can have photo animation. So what I was choosing to do with this one was have the typography still and then just introduce some photo animation, excuse me. And I've added a zoom in there. You can have a kind of a pan, a zoom, a fade out, a blur, a color, and a fade. So there's kind of multiple different types of animation you have, but I just wanted something quite simple, quite kind of elegant. And that's how I've gone ahead and created my static post. Jumping back into this one, you can see here that I've got the option to add pages because I wanted to try and play around with a few different layouts. So I simply just was able to click the plus button to duplicate the page. And then you'll see now that I've got 4 pages on screen, and I've been able to kind of play around with all the different pages and add animations to see which ones I liked the best before I go ahead and make my post. So that's a whistle stop through adobeexpress.com, express.adobe.com. And now what I wanted to show you was the new version, which is new.express.adobe.com. So this is really where to go if you want to look at all the video functionality and also all of the Firefly generative AI capabilities that we're now introducing into our assets. So I'm just going to show you the asset that we're going to quickly create here. So this one we have, it's very, very similar, but we've used the generative AI tools to create the typography, sugary kind of effect. And we've used generative AI tools again to create our imagery. So we'll go ahead and start to do that now. Because I want to continue with a square post, we can just select the size that we want. And then when I'm going to go into media, I'm going to go into text to image. I'm going to select square. I like my cupcake. I'm going to go cupcake, pink icing. I might need to write a bit more description like single cupcake. And you'll see here that it's got all the different styles that I can choose from as well. I'm just going to keep it plain and simple to see if we can get a sort of photographic effect. But really by playing around with this, you can go to town with all the different styles and techniques that you can start to kind of play with. For the sake of today, we've got a lot to get through. So I think we're just going to select one of our cupcakes. That looks pretty delicious. I really like the look of that one. But again, I want to knock out the background. So I need to click on my remove background button as well. One other thing to call out is that if you did want to crop it, you can actually crop images into shapes simply by selecting the crop button here, which is a really nice, quick and easy kind of selection thing to do. Let's go ahead and add another cake. So if I go back to media, I'll go text to image. I'll just add a square one. And again, we're going to go single cupcake with blue icing. And again, we'll pick none for the style because I want it to be a kind of, you know, semi-photographic, realistic looking cake. It almost looks as good as something I might kind of knock up in the kitchen on the weekend, which is pretty cool. I'm going to choose that blue one there because that's got nice icing on it. And again, I'm going to go ahead and remove the background. And maybe just kind of pop it in front of that one, make my pink one a little bit bigger and move it over. Now let's go and see what else I had on my image. I had it over here, didn't I? I had my, if I play this, I've had my text effects and I have my animation. So let's go ahead and start to work with the text effects and the animation. Got too many screens open. Where are we? There we are. So if I pop into my typography, you'll see here that this is new. This kind of add your text is new and the generated text effects is new. As soon as I add my text, I can't remember, what did I write on it? I wrote fresh bakes today. I can go ahead and change the text box, move it around. Let's move it up there. Let's just turn it into 3 lines. And again, what we're going to be doing now is using this new text effects. And I'm going to be putting in blue sugar because I wanted this kind of sugary effect. And I'm going to be generating my text effect. Obviously, it doesn't look that great. There's not much typography to show off this kind of beautiful text. So I can go ahead and just change the font to a font that's kind of going to show off better some of the text effects. It's quite nice to work with the big blocky kind of typography to really show off those kind of gorgeous text effects when you're working with text effects. I actually think I wanted it in caps as well. And what's really nice is like once you've generated your text effect, if you like it, you can go ahead and edit the typography without having to go back to the text effects as well. I think that's a bit gappy, so I'm going to introduce a little bit of kind of tighter leading here. And again, you can adjust the kerning if you wanted to as well. I'm going to put it into dynamic. I like dynamic because it just kind of like shifts it all immediately into 3 perfectly shaped lines for me. The other thing you'll notice is that I'm missing my logo. So if I just simply go over here on the left-hand side and I go into my stuff, you'll see here this is slightly different from the current version. You've got your files and then you have your brands and library. If I pop into my brands, you'll see that I've got if I pop into my libraries, you'll see that I've got all my brand assets listed, all my brand logos, and I can just kind of play around with popping on my typography. Again, if I go into your stuff, you'll notice the difference. If I pop out of my brands and into my files, you'll notice I've got all that my kind of Adobe files that I can actually drag and drop into my assets as well. It does say that Express files will be supported soon, so I can't access my Express files today from this area. I have to access them from the recent files, but in a couple of weeks, all of this will be live and up and running, and you'll be able to really use all of your Creative Cloud files within your design applications. So the only other thing I think I had was a little bit of animation. And obviously I don't like that background color being plain, so we need to just quickly pop into background color, choose our baby pink, slightly different type color from before, but let's see how that looks. And then we need to go ahead and add some animation. So I'm going to select this cupcake and I'm going to pop into animation and give it a really nice bungee. I can actually change the duration and change the number of bounces as well. And what it's done is you'll see it's instantly generated a timeline at the bottom of the screen, which has made it into a little kind of video animation. Too long for my needs, so I can just drag the edge of the handle and make that shorter, and then pop into animation and add another little bungee for that one. This typography here, I just want something a bit more subtle, so I'm going to go to animation, I'm going to add in, and I'm going to add my grow animation. So I've got my bungee cakes bunging in, and then my little asset growing as well. We need to try to bungee to that one, didn't we? That's a little bit much, isn't it? We need to soften that up a bit. Maybe a couple of bounces. How does that look? Couple of bounces and a fade. So that really shows you how I've been able to work with kind of the generative AI tools and the generative AI, the really kind of fun baking sugar icing font that I'd never been able to generate in such a quick time frame without our new Firefly functionality being brought right into Express. So we've taken a look at video, and I just wanted to look at sort of layering up video and opening this asset here. This one here, I've added audio, and you can see I've added the different cutouts, and I just wanted to pop through how I made this with you, just to show you how you can actually create some quite complicated video assets, a little bit more complicated than this kind of static one we've done here, right within Adobe Express. So if I go to Adobe Express, you'll see that down at the bottom, I've got all my recents. If I click to the right, you'll see view all. But I'm just going to go ahead and really kind of just open this file up so you can see how I've built this up together. This is my timeline on the bottom, and I'm able to use the drag and drop slider to see more or less of my timeline. As I've gone through, you can see that I've actually added a video of a tree. Now, the video of the tree, I was able to find by just popping into media, searching through video and finding a video of trees. And then what I did, obviously, was I added my duotone because I want it to be kind of pink and on brand. So just by adding my text effects, again, you can see how I've added the duotone. This was pulled over from my logos. So pulling your branded assets is in really, really easily. I was able to go to my stuff, my files, and then add that. And this asset here is actually just from the elements. I referred to the elements being design elements, backgrounds, and shapes. And in the beta version, you can pretty much go to town and find anything you want. So again, if I just put in border with a vine, you can see that I was able to just quickly and easily find that vine border, add a little duotone just to knock it back and give it a color. And then you can see I've added my typography. We did exactly the same thing here. I generated a cupcake and then I knocked out the background. So I was able to just kind of start to add my backgrounds. One thing that's really nice is if I did want to change this into a different sort of person here, I can go into Persson, I can just put, and then I can actually start to really sort of change up my imagery. Oh, sorry if I just have to do that. And then I actually go to replace image here. It will actually automatically apply the same cutout. It should apply the same cutout, hasn't done it there, to the image that you've got on there as well. So again, really start to kind of layer up typography and images. So the other thing I just wanted to call your attention to is the audio. This is an audio track. You can see here the name of the track, Lo-Fi Hip Hop Memories Bumper, Adobe Stock, because this is an Adobe Stock preview I've added to my brand asset here. But what we can do is actually simply go ahead and add audio. I can obviously adjust the volume there, but if I am adding audio, when I go into this audio here, you'll see that I've got a couple of options. Okay, I don't need a person holding a cake, but I can go ahead and really play through all of the different assets that are already preloaded right within it, or I can upload from device, which is what I did. I selected and uploaded my own MP4 file format, or I can go ahead and record a voiceover, which means that you can do kind of like really nice kind of like videos if you're doing an explainer video, for example, or a little talking head. It's a really, really nice way of adding all of those elements together, super quick and easy. So really in quite a short time, you can see how easily you can create something that actually looks really, really nice and actually quite complicated. Again, if I was in Premiere Pro, that would have taken me a lot longer to pull that together. Before we go over to the Q&A session, I just wanted to call you out to a couple of other things over here. So over on the left-hand side, we've got add-ons, which are now new. These are basically plugins that really extend the functionality of Adobe Express. A really good one to call out, for example, if you're looking at accessibility, is color blindness. And it will just kind of load a preview, and then you can have a little look at what it looks like to people with different vision impairments, for example, to make sure that you're happy about what it looks like. You can play around with this a bit more, and I can reload the preview or open an external preview as well. But there's some really nice kind of plugins that are now available and already built in to your Adobe Express to really kind of extend out that functionality. Last but not least, so now we've created all these fantastic assets. Obviously, what do we want to do? We want to share them with the world. So I'm going to go back out here, leave this, and pop back into schedule. Now, this is both in the production version and the different version and the new version. And what you can see here is you can see I was able to publish a post directly. If I can find my Facebook up here, I was able to publish a post directly from the scheduler area of Adobe Express. So here you can see is my Facebook page. I created a little page for Sugar and Spice, needs a little bit of branding. And I've been able to just quickly make that post and post that out today and write my little kind of content and my hashtags and so forth. And I've done all of that right from within Adobe Express, which is amazing. So what I need to do if I wanted to post something was really just kind of click a little plus, click the day, click what I want to let's have a look. Click what I wanted to edit. This is my post that I want to edit. It brings up this page here that I can have a little look at the preview. I can choose where I want to post it from. I can preview it, and then I can add my hashtags and add my content as well. You can actually go ahead and look at the calendar. And another nice thing to do is you can actually drag your posts onto the left-hand side and just have them as drafts, basically. So I can drag them into from my calendar into my drafts. And when I'm looking at it, I can maybe even make a note of what I want to do. For example, I can maybe start to draft the caption, put it all here, and then I can save it in my scheduled area before I go ahead and publish it. Gone back out now. Now in June, where am I in June? I need to get back to July, don't I? So really nice way of kind of sharing drafts. I popped a draft here on Friday saying maybe add video content today around the making of the campaign, for example. So you can actually start to use your scheduler as a bit of a planner, as well as something that you can directly post out to social. So I think I'm going to stop there and stop screen sharing, and we'll hand over to, or maybe I'll keep the screen share open in case anyone's got any questions about Adobe Express they'd like me to answer, anything that has piqued your interest today that you want to know more on, or anything you feel that you've got a question about anything I showed you today. So
Thank you, Celeste. Wow. That was incredible. We have, in fact, got so many questions. Like, wow. I want to thank everyone for their interest and their energy and their curiosity more than anything. And I was speaking to James in the back end, and I think I'm just going to cherry pick the most of the questions that we can get through in this time. Some of them I tried to send some links in the chat pod, but rest assured, if we don't get to them and if Celeste doesn't have the answer, or me, we'll try and follow up afterwards. So with that, I am going to scroll back up and we're going to start with the first question from Kate. So can I save my own logo and brand colors or fonts to use in Adobe Express?
Yes, you can absolutely save your own logo and brand colors. So the asset that I created was actually created in Illustrator. And there's actually one thing I didn't show you. So that's a fantastic question. It's because it reminded me of something here as well. If I go back into the new Adobe Express, as you're creating your library, you can bring in assets that you've created from Illustrator or any other program. You can bring in your brand fonts and you can choose all the hex code for your colors as well. If you did actually want to start a post, one of the posts that I started was actually started from my content. I'm going to show you two things super quick, Malin, if that's okay. I'm actually able to go in and start a post from, here we are, I had my Photoshop and Illustrator template. So I've got here a template, and I was actually able to open my Illustrator template. It loaded it into Adobe Express for me. And that's how I started off that particular social post. Was actually made by bringing in an Illustrator post that I created elsewhere, or somebody else might give you a template that you want to work from. And again, you see it's really kind of brought in all the assets and brought in all the layers as well. So that's a really nice thing to do. Another thing in terms of working with branding, I'm just going to pop into this quickly, Malin. This is a document that I created in InDesign. It's like imagine you want to create a flyer or a magazine brochure or something like that for your brand. The other really cool thing you could do is I've saved that out as a PDF, and I was just going to import that back in again. If I just pop into magazine, and I add my very plain and very boring magazine cover, which I've created here. In fact, I have to say big kudos to Adobe Stock. So if you want to go and find some InDesign templates, if InDesign is not your forte and you think a little bit scary to create from scratch, go ahead and find some fantastic, beautiful templates on Adobe Stock. A lot of them are free as well. Now, what's really, really cool is, again, I can go ahead and just quickly choose my media. Add my cupcake again, because obviously I love my cupcakes today. Let's go and find my little kind of blue one, knock out the background, and you'll see how quickly it is to really kind of go to town creating all these kind of fun little graphics for all your design documents that you might have created in another application. So this is something I do all the time. I was asked to create a magazine. I had to do like a 24-page magazine, which I laid out in InDesign, just for my kind of kids' school fair. And what I did to find all my groovy graphics was head straight on over to Adobe Express and pop in all my graphics from Adobe Express. The other thing you can do in the new version of Adobe Express, because we really want to have this interoperability between all of our assets, is I can go ahead and add that asset to a brand or a library. So now I love my cupcake. I can go ahead and search all my brands. It will come up in a moment. A little bit slow with the Wi-Fi today, and I can add that to my brand. Let's say, for example, where's my sugar and spice brand? Got too many libraries open, haven't I? Right, let's have a quick look. I should probably stop following some of my libraries. Anyways, you get the point. I can add it to my library, and then when I go back into my InDesign template, I can use that asset within my InDesign document as well. So again, thank you for asking that, because there's so much interoperability between Illustrator, Photoshop, and Adobe Express today, that it's a really nice way of having that round trip between all the different apps and bringing all your brands together.
Super. Thanks.
Answer, Malin. Go for it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Okay, so we have a few questions here around sort of integrations with like the wider Creative Cloud. I think that kind of showed a little bit of that, right?
Yeah.
But do you want to talk a little bit around the separate licenses, the joint licenses, what's included? Can you give us a little bit of a feedback there, or like a little overview?
Yeah, I think licensing can be different depending on how you purchase your licenses, and it might be one for Charity Digital to pick up in terms of whether you're buying an all apps license or whether you're buying a single license. If you purchase an all apps license, you'll have access to all of the Creative Cloud applications. If I pop up here you can see that this is my Creative Cloud. If I go into my apps, you can see that all of these apps are included with Creative Cloud. And this is a license for all of Creative Cloud. You can also purchase Adobe Express as a standalone, but then you would not have as integration with all of the other applications that you might be wanting to work with, such as Photoshop, InDesign and Illustrator and so forth.
Super. Yeah, so I would say then if your organization or if your team or the wider colleagues that you work with, if they already have access to Creative Cloud, all apps, then there is obviously an estate already there. So, and James was great. So he just popped in some information for everyone to click through to as well. So that's awesome.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. We got a few questions. So one person had an issue around express.adobe.com, so the production version. He had access to it 1 hour ago, but now he can only be forwarded on to new Express. Do you have any information on that, Celeste? Or should we be using the beta version now? Do you have any suggestions?
I don't know. We were kind of being updated of the release date for the beta version, and I know it is going to be coming out soon. It's either this month or next month. Until that time, both versions should run concurrently. And we also need to say that there's not been a plan to take out files that you're using or you've got saved in the production version when the new beta version kind of takes over. It should be that all of your files are transported so you can keep using them as well. That might be one we'll have to take offline. Malin, if he wants to kind of ping us an email, we can try and take that one offline.
Yeah, that's good. And then that also answers that we essentially don't have an answer just yet about the app itself. So on the App Store, or if you're in the Galaxy Store or the Google Android stores, there is the production version of Express at the moment for any mobile device. So with that, I think, yeah, stay tuned. Both versions are now available. They should be running concurrently. If you are an early adopter for the new Express, that's amazing. It's going to be the standard Express sooner rather than later for sure. So, and it has all the great features that Celeste was pointing out earlier. The other question that we had was a little bit around the video tools on Express. Do you know, Celeste, if there is a maximum file size, or do you have any?
There will absolutely be a maximum file size. So for example, when you're bringing in images, they have to be 6,000 pixels wide, and there will be a file size, which I don't have the information about the actual maximums, but there will be file size restrictions as well when you're working in it, I should think. But we can, again, I can follow up with all of that information and try and get that pinned down.
Super.
I was going to say something about video as well now, but it's gone. Go for it, Malin.
We had another question on video, which is, can you overlap videos in Adobe Express?
The other thing to say, this is what I was going to actually pull out about video. The other thing on the video is that you'll notice, I can't see, where's my video quickly. I need to go into the new one to find my video quickly. But if you are looking at the video functionality, again, you'll notice some things like, for example, in Adobe Premiere Rush, which again, a lot of people like to use a lot, you have a lot of transitions. So again, we've incorporated the animations, the duotones, the cutouts. What we don't have today is the transitions, which is coming soon. So you'll be able to sort of use all your kind of fade to black at the end, or as well as quick cuts, you'll be able to fade in and fade out and have all of those kind of automatic transitions as well. So all of that is going to be coming soon as the video capacities are built out in this beta version.
Super. That's awesome. Now we have a question here. So how easy is it to resize an asset from another platform?
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't put the resize in. So I love resizing in Adobe Express, because obviously you just click this little resize button up here, and then you click what you want to resize it to, and then whatever your asset is automatically resized. So again, I should have probably duplicated that before I resized it, but you can see it does a really good job of kind of resizing all of your assets, and you can just go ahead and kind of select the size that you want to resize them for as well. The same if I have a square asset like here, for example, in the production version. Again, once it's loaded up for me, I can just click the resize button on the right hand side, and again, quickly and easily just change it to any size I want. So yeah, resizing is fantastic. The other thing to mention is that, you know, you can actually build a template up that has got all of your sizes in. You might have, like, say, okay, I only post, let's say Instagram story, Instagram, and Facebook landscape, and then you might create a template with all of these and then save it as a template and then always go back to that as well. The other thing we're trying to do is bring in template functionality so that you can actually save your templates and then share out the templates as well. So all of that is coming. One thing I didn't point out, I know we're really running out of time, but this is this purple button over here and the download button. The download button is your best friend if you want to go ahead and download it, take your asset out of Adobe Express. You've got the option to download selected page, all pages. If you've got any animation, it will instantly give you the option to download it as an MP4. But if you want to download it as a static, you've got your PNG, your JPEG and your PDF file formats as well. You do have a little bit of kind of discrepancy over the resolution. Obviously, if you're posting online, you don't need a 4K. That would be, a smaller file size will be fine. And then the share button, obviously, if you want to go ahead and share, we can actually go ahead and invite collaborators. And this little purple button here is where you invite your friends to share your documents with you. So I could put in Malin here, for example, and then Malin would get an invite. I'll say, take a look. And then Malin would get an invite and she would be able to jump into this document and we'd be able to sort of co-edit it together. So I did talk about the co-editing together, but I didn't show you where it was, and that's how to access the co-editing as well. Again, you do have your permissions. Anyone with the link can comment, everyone can comment, or only invited people can access as well. So you can set your permissions in terms of if you only want people to comment, if you want to remove people, or you want to give them full functionality to collaborate with you.
Super, thank you. And actually on collaboration, we have the question here. So let me just pull it up. I think the question was around, do we have to create branding on each license, or can we have a charity team? And yes, to what you just described, right? You can set up so you all are using the same.
You could set up a library that would be shared with everyone within the team. And then you could set up these templates that would be shared with everyone in the team as well. So you could really work with that. On the template front, that we really are doing a lot of work behind the scenes to make it enterprise ready. So I've been speaking to the teams and we're working on kind of template locking and thinking how that will work in terms of making sure that, you can only edit certain bits of the template and not others. So there'll be some changes coming along in the second half of this year around templating.
Super. Awesome. So stay tuned for that for sure. It's going to help a lot of the pro creatives who might be on the line as well to feel that they can hand off to non-creatives. And also for you, it might, if you are a non-creative, to make sure that you feel that you have a template and it stays on brand, right? We all want to stay on brand. So that's really cool. All right. So there was a question as well around, are you able to move the toolbar from the left to either the top or the right, like you are in Photoshop, for example?
No,
I guess the question here is, it's because it's browser based. This is the interface that everyone's going to be having at the moment.
But just to give the point on the current version, when you go in to create something, for example, let's just click on something. You've got actually your toolbars on the left and then your templates, and then over on the right, you've got assets that come up as well. And what they've done in the new version is they've just pushed all that to the left so that you've got a much bigger kind of editing space here as well. So all of your tools are on the left-hand side in the new version.
Super. Awesome. And then a final question around, would we be able to lay out folded leaflets with pages in the right corner or in the right order to print with, I know that there was another question around printing with bleed, etc. Like you can do it in InDesign. I would just point out that this is not a pro design tool and it's not a printing tool. So it doesn't have these capabilities in the same extent as InDesign.
But what you could do, Malin, is you could actually download your asset. If it's a static asset, download it as a PDF and then maybe pop it into your InDesign file. And it might be that your InDesign file you've set up. You can see here, I've got my 3mm bleed. You can set up your grids and guidelines and you're preparing everything for print in InDesign. So that's another way around it, is preparing all your assets. Or like I say, starting in InDesign, bringing your design assets in via a Creative Cloud library and popping them onto your page. So a couple of ways around it, because Adobe Express is really a digital first tool rather than a kind of print first tool.
Yes, amazing. I know that there are, I think, 10 other questions in here as well. To James' point, we are going to follow up with the ones that we can answer. And thank you, everyone. It has been an amazing hour. I love talking creativity. Thank you, Celeste, for being my co-partner in bringing this to this group as well. And over to you, Lisa.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, both. And it was, it was very insightful. And I hope that all of you really enjoyed it. As we're bang on the hour, that's all we've got time for today, but we hope you really enjoyed it. And we will get together all the questions and get them answered and share and make them available later on. So thank you all of you for joining us. We hope you had a great rest of the day. I know my colleague James has put some links in the chat for you to give your feedback, as we'd love to know, what your thoughts of today's and what we can do to improve. And our next webinar will actually be tomorrow, and it's about how charities can access free tech and cheap tech. So we will make sure that you have access to, to sign up. Obviously, it's free. You can also check that out on our website, and we hope to see some of you tomorrow as well, between 1 and 2, with our colleague Joel, who will be telling you more about how to get free and cheap tech for your charity. So thank you once again to Celeste and Malin, and we hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thanks everyone.
It's been a brilliant session. Bye.